you probably couldn't really have gone any further. You went all the way down to Exeter. So what was the decision behind that, James? And obviously at that time as well, with you still being obviously very young, going all that way, was that a challenge for you, moving all the way down there?
I'd say it was probably the best and worst move that I could have made. I had a year left at Newcastle. The ITV digital money sort of had gone, so there was sort of it was really hard to get a club. I'd experienced two loan spells, so I didn't want to play reserve team football. I didn't see my future at Newcastle. I think Sir Bobby sort of didn't want me to go, but sort of didn't want to sort of hold me back. And then I was with an agent that sort of was just starting out in football. So it was a bad combination really, and then managed to sort of speak to Exeter and John Corforth. Corforth was the manager, who was a Geordie. So yeah, I travelled sort of 350 miles away from home, from sort of where I've been based my whole life, and with nobody around me, it was really really hard. Sort of Michael Jackson was on the board at Exeter. Uri Geller was the chairman. Darth Vader. It was sort of this big sort of circus, if you like. And they'd struggled for 3 or 4 seasons down the bottom of the table, and I sort of later down the line sort of worked out that I'd gone into sort of a losing mentality.
Mm.
When they lost games, it was accepted,
Yeah.
and ended up getting relegated out of the Football League in the first season.
Yeah, so that would have been, yeah. So what is League Two now? Division Three. The lot you got relegated from there, so that is would have been the conference or equivalent or whatever it was called then. So,
Yeah.
so you've gone from, like I say, Premier League, Newcastle, all the way, and you're not even in the league at this point now. And that's when you've kind of said in previous interviews that I've read, James, that you're basically close to quitting. So, can you talk us through that? How close were that, and what were you feeling at that point of kind of literally not even being in the league anymore?
Yeah, so I went from Sunday League to Premier League to non-league in 5 years,
Mm.
which for anybody is really hard. But for me, my granddad passed away, who I've just spoke about. So he died of cancer when I was 20, which I really found hard because, again, I'd never had anybody close to me pass away. My mum and dad had divorced and split up. So I grew up in like a really tight knit family, never saw it coming, and never had a home to go back to. My mum and dad had met different people, so that was really hard. So yeah, I was living away from home. I was drinking, I was gambling, I was sort of doing things for the first time that I'd never experienced. And my football wasn't going great, so it was really really difficult. And yeah, looking back, it was hard, but it was something that I had to experience to get out the other side. I think I had Eamon Dolan who got me back down to Exeter. He sadly passed away a few years ago, but Eamon was unbelievable for me. He sort of believed in me, trusted me, wanted me to come back down and play for Exeter. And I had a really good season that second season when we were playing in the National League. And obviously, sort of Doncaster showed an interest in January. I managed to stay, and then I left at the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in terms of then that, if you when you were kind of feeling a bit down and you were thinking, maybe this is not right for me, did you have any other plan for what else you could do if you did leave football, or was it just I don't really want to be in this situation anymore because it was a bit of a like a negative club at that time, as you mentioned, it was a bit of a loser mentality. Did you have a plan for maybe I want to leave football and do something else, or did you not even have an inclination about
No, I honestly didn't think that far ahead. I think when you're that age again, you sort of just saunter on by and think that things are gonna be fine, and that was the case. I think for me personally, I wasn't enjoying football, and I started playing football because I enjoyed it. Regardless of who I was playing for or where I was, I absolutely loved playing football every day, training, playing games. But then I got to a point where I found it really hard, and yeah, I sort of got out the other side, and I think it made me stronger and made me appreciate sort of where I was and what I needed to do. But it was clear to me sort of which direction I need to go, which direction I needed to go in, and it was to get back up north and to try and sort of establish myself and build a career at a club sort of closer to home.
Yeah, everything's better up north, James. I will. I'll definitely say that. So